Hello, Peaceful Valley Church. It is Friday. We are finishing up our work week. We're coming into the weekend, and I'm hoping that you've been able to look back at your week and say that your work has been good. That's kind of how we're designed. God finished his work. He looked back at it. Yeah, it was good. I'm hoping that you're able to do the same thing this week. This is going to be our last midday devotional. We're not going to be doing these anymore. And so my parting words for you today are going to be from 1 Peter chapter 1, starting in verse 22. Peter, the apostle of Jesus Christ, he had gone through so many things, and the stuff he had to learn during Jesus' ministry and through the time of what's called the age of the apostles, it was a lot. His entire world had to change. The way he viewed what was true and what was right and how you live, all of it had to change. He had been raised believing life was all about your good actions. But when Jesus came, he took a hold of Peter and he told him and he taught him, the best thing in you is not you, it's Jesus. Because Jesus is in you, now you have a life to live. And the difference between be awesome and Jesus is awesome is a night and day difference. And so Peter here, he's speaking to what he calls the dispersed exiles or the elect exiles. Here are these Christians, probably in Rome. They probably got kicked out of Rome because of some persecution, and now they're all across Asia Minor. And so he sends out this letter as a pastor caring for his people. And so he has this statement in chapter 1, starting in verse 22, that you might call it the summary statement for his churches that he's caring for. 1 Peter chapter 1, starting in verse 22. Having purified your souls by your obedience to the truth for a sincere brotherly love, love one another earnestly from a pure heart, since you have been born again, not of perishable seed, but of imperishable, through the living and abiding word of God. For all flesh is like grass, and all its glory like the flower of grass. The grass withers and the flower falls, but the word of the Lord remains forever. And this word is the good news that was preached to you. Peter here is contrasting what is valuable and long-lasting in your life. In his previous kind of Jewish way of seeing things, his physical life was the big deal. He protected the physical life. He even engaged in different ceremonial cleansings, and he kept himself free from being too close to Gentiles and Samaritans, and that was kind of what defined him as being useful and good in God's sight. But Peter learned his lesson. There was a time when he was out doing missionary work, and he had a vision sent from God of a big sheet lowered down out of heaven, and all these animals were running around on it, and God told him, go kill and eat. And Peter said, no, I'm not going to do that. I've never eaten an unclean animal. And God told him, what I have made to be clean, what I've cleansed, don't you dare call it unclean. And Peter understood not only that he can eat any food that he wants, but also that both the Jews and the Gentiles have been made clean by God. Now he can go to everyone. And so Peter here has his mind changed from the outward being the big deal to the inward being the big deal. And that meant that the outward is now free to just love everyone around you. The culture that we live in right now is a contentious one. It's full of fighting and bickering, trying to debate what's best about the physical body. But Peter has a reminder here for us. The big deal is not the physical body. It's the inner man. And for a believer, you have been born again. You're not looking forward to it. You already are a new creature. And the thing that has made you a new creature is that you were born again of an imperishable seed. What he means by seed is there was something planted in you and it sprang to life. Our culture is trying to plant messages in us claiming that it's going to give us life. The messages of the world will never give us life. Whether they're false promises, or false statements of truth or weird laws and orders that are given to us, they will never give us life. But for the believer, you're already alive. You don't need another seed. The seed that was planted in you is not the word of the world, it's the word of God. And it's already sprung to life and given you new life. Now the call, and this is what I'm getting at here in basically all of our devotionals, now the call is for you and I to find all of our sustenance, all of our food, all of the seed that we put in has to be the Word of God. This Bible has to be our message. It has to be the thing that we feed on. It's the truth that when it's implanted springs to life. Believers, you're already born again through the power of this Word. Now the life that you will exhibit comes from this Word as well. Don't ignore this. Don't chase down other messages. Don't be afraid because of other messages. Don't run around looking for other things. Remain solid and steadfast on the Word of God, what it has to teach you, and you will be made new continually over and over and over, renewed by the Word. Be encouraged to go to the Word of God, especially in this time where you have so many divergent messages that are never going to seek your life. Only the Word of God will give you life. Have a good day, Peaceful Valley Church. Goodbye.